You ever wonder why the most powerful people in the room are the quietest? Why the truly unshakable don't yell, don't clench their fists, don't flinch? The world has lied to you. Power isn't loud, it isn't rage, and it definitely isn't about dominance. Real power is precision. It's control without the need for chaos. It's the blade you don't see coming. Nietzsche warned us the one who fights monsters must be careful not to become one. And Machiavelli. He taught that influence is more permanent when it doesn't scream for attention. Today I'll show you 3 phrases, simple, surgical, unstoppable, that allow you to own every room you enter without ever raising your voice. Not through anger, but through presence. Master these and you'll never need force again. Only direction, only awareness, only calculated peace. I understand. It's not surrender, it's sovereignty. The moment those words leave your lips, you're no longer a participant in someone else's chaos, you're the observer. You're not validating their logic nor rejecting it. You rise above it. You step out of the ancient game of attack and defense. The person in front of you may expect outrage, a flare of emotion, a fiery rebuttal, but instead you remain still, calm, certain, and that shakes them. Because in a world addicted to instant reactions, stillness is terrifying. I understand doesn't mean agreement, it means awareness. You're telling them, I see what's happening, I'm not afraid, and I won't be moved. This is what Nietzsche called the will to power, not power over others, but power over self. It's the art of self-command. And in that command, conflict loses its grip. Because when you refuse to react, you stop playing their game. You are no longer the flame. You become the sky around it. You become untouchable. People think power means dominance, but the most dangerous person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove anything, who chooses to remain grounded, intentional, unbothered. I understand is not weakness. It's a weapon, a quiet one that says you don't get to pull me into your fire, because I've seen this before, and I've already decided I won't burn for it. I will rise. You might be right. It sounds harmless, passive even. But don't be fooled. This is not weakness. It is a strategy, a calculated pause in the middle of a storm. Machiavelli knew the value of illusion. He taught that a wise leader doesn't crush opposition head-on, they let their enemies believe they've already won. Because when someone thinks they're right, they stop fighting, they relax, they expose their flank, and that's when you see everything. You might be right is not surrender, it's a redirection. It breaks the rhythm of conflict without costing you a single inch of control. You offer no resistance, yet you lose nothing. Instead, you disarm their ego with silence, dressed as humility. You're not agreeing, you're observing, watching how they move when they think the war's over. That's power, not the kind that needs attention, but the kind that lasts, the kind that survives. The insecure always seek to prove a point, but the powerful, they know which points are worth proving and which ones only drain your energy. You don't need to win every argument. You don't even need to speak your full truth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, you might be right, and then you walk away calm, unreadable, untouchable. Because while they talk, you've already decided what comes next. That's not passivity, that's precision, and precision always beats rage. Let's see what happens. That's not indifference, it's dominance without noise. Most people rush, they panic, they crave certainty because they fear what they can't control. But the ones who are truly dangerous, they wait, they watch, they let the room reveal itself. This phrase is not about carelessness, it's about calculated detachment. You're not betting on luck, you're removing your emotions from the outcome. And that terrifies people, because when you don't chase, you don't need. And when you don't need, you cannot be manipulated. Let's see what happens is the calm of a mind that no longer reacts to chaos. It is the poise of someone who knows that time exposes truth. Machiavelli would call this a form of silent warfare. You don't rush into battles, you let them unfold on your terms. Nietzsche would call it the triumph of the higher man, the one who can live above the noise, above the impulse to control. While others push you, wait. While others demand you observe. And in that space between action and reaction, you become ungraspable. Let the world run in circles. Let the noise rise. You say nothing. You promise nothing. You simply watch. And when the dust settles, when the truth surfaces, you're still standing. Not because you forced the outcome, but because you mastered the discipline to let it come to you. And that is how real power moves. You've just learned 3 phrases that don't raise your voice but raise your value. I understand, you might be right. Let's see what happens. Each one is a quiet weapon forged from discipline, not emotion. This is power that doesn't beg to be seen. It simply is. The kind of power that reshapes rooms, rewrites rules, and never asks for permission. Nietzsche taught us to master ourselves before we attempt to master the world. Machiavelli showed us that control lies not in aggression, but in strategy. And now it's your turn to carry that wisdom forward. In a loud world, be the calm. In a reactive culture, be the one who waits. And when the moment comes, move with clarity, not chaos. If this voice resonated with your strength, share it. Subscribe. Become part of the quiet revolution, because the future doesn't belong to the loudest. It belongs to those who don't flinch.